So there comes a time in your life that you've got to make some big decisions. Now, for me, I think I'm at that time in life. And normally a big decision used to be, let's have a cup of coffee. Because we all know Scruffy likes his coffee. And he does. And certainly on a Saturday morning when he's finishing his emails and answering all the messages on WhatsApp from the other channel, the Scruffy Trader, and considering what I'm going to do for the coming week. I do this every weekend. I plan out what I'm doing. Now, this week has come to a realization that I actually probably need to plan out my life more than the next week. Now, the Scruffy Trader is a channel that I brought into being 6-7 years ago. It's over 5,500 videos on that. Because for those who don't know me, I'm a market analyst and I trade for a living on the financial assets, which is why my Vanguard does quite well. Okay, it's actually part of my job, and that portfolio was built through my knowledge. Now, the downside of this job is I don't move much. In fact, I don't move much at all. And because I look after a small community, they are at me all the time. And I always feel obliged to help them. So from around 6:30 in the morning, I get in this chair with a cup of coffee and I start work. And sometimes I don't even make it downstairs in the day because I'm locked in this office. And what's happening is a lot of the time it just runs right through to bedtime. Now, it's not uncommon for me to work from 6 in the morning and still be here at 11 o'clock at night. Reason being, I eat at the desk. I talk to Joanne because you often see her sitting there. And the guys in the squad and the community that I run on the Discord will tell you I'm always there because I come to camera. If they ask me a question, I'll go on the camera. So they know I'm here. And I also go live with them 4 times a week. So I do a morning session with them and I do an evening session with them. Go back in time to where it was last outside the Bollinger Band. So when I finish the evening session, it's supposed to be from 8 till 9. Many times it's 9:30, 10 o'clock by the time I finish the session with the guys. Then I've got to create the video for them, write up what we spoke about, and then inevitably there's a flood of questions after it. So for me, being here till 11 o'clock at night is no big shake.
Tired I am.
But it has been this week. And I created the Scruffy Life channel, really just as a second channel to sort of, well, tell you what I'm up to, maybe show you my Vanguard because people are interested in it. I go on holiday a lot. Last year, I did a holiday every single month. So every month I went on holiday. And there's no sponsored content on either channel. I only ever talk about what I personally do and use. So when it was doing my travel logs and one thing and another, I paid for them. So when you saw me in different places, it wasn't that somebody sponsored it to pay, I paid for it. Okay. Now, why do I do that? Well, I do okay in life, but I burn out, which is what I'm moving to, because you can't sustain that level indefinitely.
A burnt out, desolate man.
Now, when I was younger, I suppose you could. I was fitter then. You know, I used to be very fit in my 20s. You know, I did a lot of martial arts. I used to love to play golf, and then I played golf right through up till about 10 years ago. You know, and when my company closed 10 years ago, I kind of let it pass. It's an expensive hobby, I guess. And anyway, I had to knuckle in and do things, but in the meantime, I did hurt myself. I broke my neck. Various other bits and pieces has happened to me over the period of time. Now, my normal weight is around, I don't know, about 15, 16 stone. I'm a big guy. I'm 6 foot. I'm pretty wide framed. And now I was sitting looking at it. I was like 23 stone at one point.
Fat bastard.
Sort of 323 pounds, I think, was the heaviest I got to. Now, I have lost a bit of weight. I'm down to 314 pounds. But it's been a hard struggle. A real hard struggle. Because I struggle with things like that. I'm incredibly disciplined with my job. Almost to the point of OCD. If I'm going to do it, I have to do it. And I was like that my entire career. When I worked in the blue chip sector, if I was going to do it, I had to do it right. And I did very well. Then when I started my own business in sort of the early 2000s and one thing and another, I wanted it to be the best. And I had that business for 17 years before market forces caused it to close. I had 19 staff at the time, big warehouse, all that sort of thing. So life was pretty good. But health-wise, maybe not so much, because I was the same then. I was first in, last out, 7 days a week. And you burn out. Now, at the moment, I seem to be burning out a lot quicker than what I used to.
Why?
And I guess the monologue is about that. It's about burnout. Now, you can have that in your trading life as well. A lot of traders burn out. And they burn out because they are intensely on the screen. But they're pressing the button all the time. My life's slightly different. I'll trade once or twice a day, but I'll look at the charts all day. But I'm only pressing the button once or twice because I'm really disciplined on that. And I'm looking for the right opportunity. The downside of it is I don't get out this bloody chair. Now, I do have a vicious sense of humour. You know, I do knobhead of the week, which is why there's always a willy on the desk. And my favourite hobby is winding up my wife. So if you ever watch us when we're together, I rinse her like there's no tomorrow. But she always comes across sheepish and quiet. Trust me, she gives as good as she gets. But we have an excellent life. I love it a bit. And I love my life. I love my kids. And I love my grandkids. And isn't that what the world is about? But this week something happened. I always knew I was unfit. Really unfit. And I didn't realise exactly how unfit I was till this week. A friend of mine said, should we go play golf? Now, I've never swung a club in years. All right? And I do struggle around the house sometimes. Weight and mobility and one thing and another. And as you saw, the accident was pretty bad and it did leave me with nerve damage. Okay? So I have to fight my way through things. But I said, yeah, we'll go. And we'll go on the driving range and maybe I'll loosen up a little bit. And then we'll go play a few rounds. But we'll only do 9 holes because I think 18's a step too far just yet. I made it to hole 4.
Keep up, you fat bastard!
4. And you know what? I was so knackered. It was unbelievable. You know, I almost sort of passed out at one stage because I was like, so. It didn't help that my electric trolley's battery had decided that it was knackered and I had to push the bloody thing as well. Should have bloody checked it before I went. But then again, it had been sitting in the garage for 6 years. What did I know? Of course they'll degrade. I thought if I left it on overnight, it'd be fine. Got that one wrong, didn't I? So that didn't help. But that's no excuse. I should have got further than 4 holes. But the next part of it was, I actually seized up so badly, I couldn't bend over to swing the club.
I cannot move.
And sort of putting it, the agony that was running up my back was unbelievable. So I've made a decision. I need to change my life.
No way.
And I went out for a walk yesterday and it was up a hill here. It's getting fit like shit. Apparently I've got to work. Look at her. Fucking cow. You might giddy up.
I said hurry up.
Look at the fucking mountain I've got to climb. It's fucking horrendous. And it didn't look far, but trust me, when I got to the top of it, I was ended in defeat as fucked. And it's her fault. Kilimanjaro I've climbed. I'm fucking knackered. So regardless of what happens, I'm going to walk that every day. You know, and if I don't walk that, there's a loop round where I live, which is roughly the same distance, but it's on the flat. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to walk, and I'll document it. And if you want to see it, and maybe I'll do it every other day as a minute video. I'm doing this today and one thing another. And the reason why I'll do it, I might do it every day, actually. I can't do it this week because I'm going on. Well, actually, I could. I'm going on holiday. Go for a walk every day. And then we can maybe see the weight come off me because you'll see it in my face, like a 30-second video each day. You know, off on a walk, here we go, I'm knackered, I'm doing well, or whatever. Now, am I going to change my eating habits? I'm a fuck. But I don't think I eat too bad at all. I don't eat that much. I have a cereal on a morning, cornflakes. I have a very light lunch. Sometimes it's just a couple of boiled eggs. And then I just have a small meal on a night time. And then on a weekend, maybe have a treat, you know, whether it's a pizza or fish and chips. I think my issue is the fact I don't get out of this chair. So I'll be interested in your journeys. I really will be, because this has hit me home really hard. And I'm sitting thinking, you know something? I was told a few years ago I was well on the spectrum for heart attack. You know, because I was a big guy, I was under massive strength, and one thing when I was told to slow down, and I never did. And I've done a few seminars with the guys where I'm standing on my feet all day and I'm talking and sort of pointing at a screen and one thing and another. At the end of the day, I could hardly walk, you know, and when I was playing golf, I wanted to go sort of like get a tin of pop. I literally couldn't get out of the chair. I had to sit in the chair for about 40 minutes just to sort of get some energy back. And that's no good. It's no good at all. And the one thing that I really want, I do want to play with my grandkids. I want to play with Winky. You know, I love going everywhere. She'll walk everywhere. She's as fit as a bloody, she is. She's fitter than a butcher's dog, she is. So that's it. So you tell me, am I doing the right thing? Have I come to the right realization? Or should I just do what happens with some of the idiots on the other channel? Because the thing with what I do for a living is it does attract morons. And I often get death threats. And well, not death threats, but wishing me dead. They tell me to sort of choke to death and everything, because sometimes I do cough. But I don't want that for her. I really don't. And it's why I'm concentrating on building up this Vanguard, because that will be a legacy. You know, once it's built, I'm trying to get it to 500,000. I'm doing quite well on it at the moment. I've got it up to 230 odd, which we'll look into it now. We'll check it out and you can see how well it goes, because I try and do that once a week or once every certainly once a month. But if I'm going to do the lifestyle thing, I might just push that into once a month so you can see that grow. But you tell me what you want. Also, what I can do is I can show you things to look for in the investment world. And if you want to see the trading world, go over to the Scruffy Trader, subscribe to it, hype it, all that sort of thing. You'll see exactly how you can extract money from the markets correctly. Because there's a lot of dross out there, guys. In fact, there's so much dross, it's unbelievable. And if you go on TikTok, 99.9% of it is absolute horseshit. There's no way that happens. I've been in the industry 20 years and I came into the industry through having my own business. Part of the business was forward purchasing. And if you don't know what that means, it means locking in an exchange rate or actually buying physical asset of currency because you buy your products overseas. So trading has been in my DNA 20 years, you know. In fact, it's 20 years this year, 26. Is it 20 years this year? 21 years this year. 2005, we did our first deal. Fucking hell. Yes, I was getting old. Let's have a look. Let's see how well the Vanguard's doing. And like I say, cherish your thoughts. Okay, so we're currently at 230,925. It isn't the highest it's been. The highest it's been was 234. So it's actually down quite a bit because I've had money into this and the markets have dipped off it. Am I worried? Not really. Look at the graph. See, it's dipped down and then it rallied. A market can't continually go in a single direction. And I'm fully aware of this, and I'm going to be running this for certainly the next 4 years. It's been running quite a while anyway. And just to show you, I track things on a spreadsheet. I started this 1st of January 2022 with the guys in the squad. And if I just sort of move this bit over, you'll see it. There's the starting date and the balance. So it's done really well over a period of years. Now, this is through compounding effect. I've never taken anything out of it because I've never really needed to. There's been the odd occasion where I've had to top my trading funds up because this is what my trading funds are. But most of the time, I'm okay. And the way that I work things is I earn a little bit, keep so much for salary because might come as a shocker to you boys and girls. I do need to get paid and I need to eat, which, or maybe not after the conversation we've just had. But the surplus goes here. And then I have my holidays, etc., etc. And I trade different pots. If I'm trading for a car or I'm trading for a holiday or whatever. But ultimately, it's moving along quite nicely. Now, you'll see there's 4 sections to it here. Now, the ones that I look at is really these bits here. And this here, I take advantage of the ISA because it's tax-free. The actual growth and ratios are roughly the same. I also take advantage of the pension side of it because I get pension credits for every pound that I put into it. The government will put so much in. And that's kind of tax-free on the point of entry, but it's taxed on exit. So in theory, they'll get more tax out of me than I would have paid at the beginning. But at the same time, it's a good way of boosting things up. And then the standard is, well, if I've used my allowance in the cash ISA, I also need some liquid money. And I keep that here. And I keep about 20 grand there. And the 20 grand that I keep in there is roughly my starting pot for when you see me trading. Okay, I work on roughly about £1 1,000, and I do 2 to 2.5 lots per trade maximum, and that's where it comes from. Okay, now this bit was a little bit of an experiment, and the idea was that I'm not going to add to it. I'm just going to put £25 a month as a direct debit into a single pot and see how well it can grow. Well, we started that this sort of tax year. So that was April. We're now in July. And I set a target of 350 for it. And its initial fund of going into it was 360 quid. So I put £360 in as a lump sum. And then I've just been adding £25 a month to it. And it's doing quite well. 484 it's up to. So I'm more than happy with that. And that's just to show you the growth. And what it is, it's the cheapest unit that I could find that had a decent risk profile. And a risk profile for me is between 4 and 7, ideally 5 and 6. Now, if you've got a risk profile of 5 and 6 at the beginning stages of your portfolio, it's a good place to be because you've got plenty of time to roll out or smooth out the bumps in the road, but you've got the growth backing it up. So you might lose a bit, a couple of months, but when it hits hard and it hits big. It'll push out. Now, when you come to the end of your portfolio's life, you want to be starting to go 4, 3, 2 as your risk profile. So the capital stays the same and just gently grows, because your capital at that point should already be at a level where 5% a year will pay you reasonably well. Because that's all you need. Somewhere between 5 and 8% a year investment return. That is safe. you'll be okay. Okay. If you look for high risk when the portfolio is at its end of its life, what you'll find is you might actually run out of lifetime in order to get it recovered. Because if you're 70 years old and it goes into a down cycle for 3 years, it's going to take 3 years to go down. It can take 2 years to come back up. That's 5 years. It's too long. Whereas if you're just on steady Eddie, you'll be okay. All right. So on the last time I checked this was the 26th of June. We are currently on the 25th of July. And it's up 0.2%. Outstanding. And the last time I checked it, it was, and sort of this is before that, that was 3 grand down minus 1.3. So it's not always a smooth road. Now what I'll be doing with this is I'll just alter the figures. So we now 0.2 up. And for this, we are the Priestley sum. It's made 575.53. And the check is today. Okay. So when we look at this the next time, we will see whether or not it's still increasing or whether the balance is moving forward. Okay. So the balance today, what we're looking at is 230,925.31. Okay. So that's it. So that's our starting balance for the next check. And we need to see if it's going to be up or down. So, okay, it's not the best in the world, but it's certainly not the worst in the world. Okay. Now, if we, keep me logged in. If we look at this, what we can see month on month is the movement. So it's actually down 4 grand this month. It's not end of world stuff because it was down 10 grand at this point and then it jumped back up again. So when it goes backwards, I actually add into it. And over this last year, it's still growing me 30 grand's worth of investment return, even though I've put into it, well, thick end of 74,000. And this goes back to what I was saying about working. You can't put that amount of money in unless you are really going for it. And I have really gone for it because not only have I put that amount of money into here, I've also had my salary and one thing out of it. I had a huge tax bill to pay, various different things. I really need to slow that down because I'm quite happy to take a big pay cut to get a big increase on my life. And I think that is the way forward. So at the moment, life's pretty good. I live and do what I want, but really I need to get out of this chair. So tomorrow I'll be getting ready. I will be sort of being silly this week. So lifestyle wise, it's going to be pretty unhealthy because I'm going to Corfu on Monday morning and I'll be there for a week. I'm going to enjoy it. But as soon as I get back, bang. I'll put some feelers out. Might even see about going to a gym, get a personal trainer or something. I don't know. I don't know whether they help or actually make things worse. But I think my first job is to work on losing a bit of weight. So if I lose a bit of weight, I'm not necessarily carrying it on my back. That might help me. Because like I say, I mean, up to 23 stone, Joanne weighs 7.5, 8 stone. It's like I'm carrying Joanne every single day over above what I used to be. So if I can get it down sort of 15, 16 stone, I don't think I'll get that far. But if I could get to 18, probably make a big difference to me. So at the moment, I'm 314 pounds. First goal, get under 300. If I can get under 300, I'll be more than happy. So that's 15 pounds to lose. Wish me luck. See you soon.